You're listening to The Overnight on KVRN 91.1, and it's 3:41 in the morning, and I want you to do something for me right now. I want you to take a breath, a normal one. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Don't think about it too hard. Just let it happen the way it's happened your whole life. Did it feel right? Because mine didn't. And I've been sitting in this booth for 6 hours. And I've taken maybe 10,000 breaths in that chair without ever once noticing a single one of them. And the last 3 I noticed. My name's Marcus Dovey. Some of you know me. I do the 4 to 6 graveyard shift, the slot nobody fights me for, the slot for truckers and insomniacs, and the kind of lonely that only happens after the bars close. I play the records, I read the weather, I take your calls. That's the whole job. That's been the whole job for 9 years. I'm telling you my name because I want you to know there's a real person on the other end of this. Not a feed, not a recording. Me, Marcus, in a windowless room on the 3rd floor of a building on Callaway Street, with a coffee that's gone cold and a board full of lights that aren't blinking the way they should be. Here's what's happening, or here's what I think is happening, because I'm not going to pretend I know more than I do. About 15 minutes ago, the studio went quiet, not silent quiet. You know the hum a room has? The air handler, the fluorescence, the building breathing around you. It stopped, all at once, like somebody put a hand flat against the world and held it. And the air in here feels thick, isn't the word. Set, like gelatin that hasn't finished setting. When I move my arm, I can feel it move around me. Slow, a half second behind where my arm actually is. I called the station manager. No answer. I called the front desk. It rings and rings. So I'm doing the only thing I know how to do, which is talk to you. If you're out there, if you can hear me,
সৌদিতে
pick
যারা
up your phone,
সেবাভিত্তিক ব্যবসা
call the
শুরু করতে
request
চান
line. The
তাদের জন্য
number's the
খালি
same as always, and tell me one thing. Tell me if your air feels wrong too. I'm Marcus Dovey. You're listening to KVRN, and I'd really like someone to call. The first call came in 11 seconds after I asked. I counted, because I count things when I'm scared. It's a habit from being a kid. And 11 seconds is nothing. 11 seconds means somebody was already reaching for the phone before I finished the sentence. Line 1. I'm putting it on. Caller, you're on KVRN. Talk to me. What's your name? There was breathing first. Long, careful breathing. The kind you do when you're trying not to cry or trying not to panic. And they sound almost the same when it's just a voice with no face. Diane. A woman, older, maybe 60s. Marcus, I drive nights. I deliver the early papers out on Route 9, and I had to pull over. I had to pull the truck over. Why'd you pull over, Diane? Because the dust. She laughed, and it wasn't a happy sound. There's dust in my headlights. Always is, out there. And it's just hanging. It's not falling. It's not blowing. It's hanging in the beams, like somebody pressed pause on it. I waved my hand through it, and it parted, and then it just stayed parted. There's a hole in the dust shaped like my hand, Marcus. And it's not closing. I want to be honest with you about my reaction in that moment. Because I think honesty is the only thing I've got left to offer tonight. My first thought was that Diane was confused. Tired. Maybe something medical. People call overnight radio with all kinds of things, and a good chunk of this job is being gentle with people who aren't okay. But I'd just watched my own arm drag through the air like it was waiting. Diane, where exactly are you on Route 9? By the grain elevators, past the Sinclair station. A pause. Marcus, the engine's still running, but I can't hear it right. It sounds like it's underwater. Everything sounds like it's coming through a wall. That's the second time tonight someone's described sound going wrong. Because that's the third thing I haven't told you yet, my headphones. My own voice in my own headphones is arriving late. I speak, and a quarter second later, I hear myself. Like the sound has to push through something to get back to me. Stay on the line, Diane. Don't hang up. I've got other lines lighting up, and I need to take them, but I want you to stay right there with me, okay? Keep your line open. Talk to me whenever you need to. Okay. Small, then. Marcus? Why is it so quiet out here? I've delivered this route for 19 years. It's never been this quiet. I didn't have an answer for her. I still don't. Lines 2, 3, and 4 are lit. All of them. At 3:46 in the morning, in a town of 40,000 people, every line on my board is glowing. Let's find out what's happening. I took them one after another, and I'm going to give them to you the way they came, because the order matters, and the way they line up matters, and I need you to hear it, building the same way I heard it building. Line 2 was a man named Hollis. Works security at the hospital, the night desk by the ambulance bay. He said the automatic doors had stopped sensing people, said a nurse walked up to them with her arms full, and they didn't open. And when he went to override them manually, the air in the vestibule was so thick he had to lean his whole weight into the push bar. He said, and I wrote this down word for word, "It's like the building's holding its breath and won't let it out." Line 3 was a kid, couldn't have been more than 19. He'd been at a party out by the reservoir. Everybody'd gone home, and he was lying on the hood of his car looking up. And he said the smoke from his cigarette wasn't rising. It was just sitting on his lips in a little gray cloud and staying there. He blew it out, and it hung in front of his face like a photograph of smoke. He sounded more amazed than afraid. The young ones always do at first. Line 4 was the one that changed it for me. A woman, very calm, very precise. Said her name was Dr. Okafor, and she taught physics at the community college. And she'd been upgrading papers when she noticed the curtains. Her windows were open. There was a breeze earlier, she said, a real one. She'd felt it. And then the curtains just stopped, mid-billow. Frozen halfway into the room in a curve, holding a shape that air should not be able to hold. "Marcus," she said, "I want to be careful with my words here because I'm going to be the one person tonight who isn't allowed to be dramatic. Air is a fluid. It moves because of pressure differences. Hot rises, cold sinks, high pressure pushes toward low. That is the entire engine of weather, of breathing, of sound itself. Sound is just air pushing air." "Okay," I said. "If the air stops moving, if it can't move, then there is no weather. There is no wind. And eventually there is no sound. Because sound has nothing to travel through, but still, packed air. And it gets thicker the longer this goes. That's why I sound far away to you right now. That's why you sound far away to me." "Dr. Okafor, why would the air stop moving?" A long pause, long enough that I thought I'd lost her. "I don't know," she said. "There's no mechanism for it. None. Air doesn't choose. It doesn't decide. Something would have to be holding it. And there's nothing that can hold the entire atmosphere of a region in place. It would require..." She stopped. "I don't have the end of that sentence. I'm sorry. I came on the radio to sound reassuring, and I can't. I have never been able to say, I don't know, about my own field before tonight. 4 callers. 4 corners of one town. The same thing. This isn't Diane's eyes. This isn't one tired woman on Route 9. This is everywhere." I muted the lines for a second. I needed to think. And you can't think with 4 frightened people breathing in your ears. So here's what I did, and I'm telling you so. You don't think I just sat here. I'm not the kind of person who just sits here. I picked up the studio phone, the landline, the direct one, and I called my wife. Her name's Renata. She's home, asleep, or she was. We've got a place out on the east side, near the water tower. And the phone rang 4 times, and she picked up, and her voice was full of sleep, and I have never in my life been so happy to hear someone sound bored and annoyed at me. "Marcus, it's almost 4 in the morning. What?" "Open a window," I said. "Just do it for me. Open a window and tell me what you feel." I heard her get up. I heard the floorboards. I heard the window sash go up, that old wooden scrape we keep meaning to fix. And then I heard nothing. For a long time. "Ren, there's no air," she said. And the sleep was gone from her voice now, all of it. "Marcus, the window's open and there's no air coming in. It's like a wall. It's like glass. I'm putting my hand out and it's outside. The night smells stuck. Everything smells stuck." "Where's the baby?" "She's fine. She's sleeping. She's breathing fine. I just checked." "Keep her with you. Don't open the front door. I'm going to keep talking on the air. I need to keep the signal up. But I want you to leave the phone off the hook. And I want to be able to hear the house, okay? Just leave it down so I can hear you." "Marcus, are you scared?" I looked at the board. 6 lines lit now, then 7. "Yeah," I told her. "But I've got a job to do, and the job is the best thing I can do for you right now, so I'm going to do it." "Okay," she said. "Okay." I went back on the air. "You're back with KVRN 91.1. This is Marcus Dovey, and it's 4:02 in the morning, and I am not going anywhere. I want to do something useful with you. I've got, right now, 11 calls holding. 11. And instead of just taking them one by one and letting them scare each other, I'm going to build something. I'm going to build a map. Out loud. With your help. Because the thing about a pattern is, you can't see it from inside one call. You can only see it from above. So when I come to you, I want 3 things. Where you are, what's still moving, and what's stopped. That's it. Where moving stopped. Line 5. Go. Riverside Apartments, off 8th. The elevator's moving, it took me down. That worked. My breath's working. But the flag outside, the big one on the pole, it's straight out sideways, like there's a gale and there's no gale. It's just frozen sideways. Line 6. I'm on the interstate, mile marker 41, heading west. I can drive, the car drives. But there's bugs. There's bugs frozen in the air over the road, hundreds of them. And I'm driving through them, and they hit the windshield, and they don't move out of the way, because they can't move at all. Line 7. Downtown, the fountain in Veterans Plaza. The water that was shooting up. It's just standing there in a column. A column of water hanging in the air with no fountain pushing it. It's been like that for 20 minutes. It hasn't fallen. Are you hearing this? Are you building it with me? Because here's what I'm seeing. Here's the map in my head. And tell me if I'm wrong. The big things, the moving air things, wind, smoke, dust, flags, fountains, those are stopped. Frozen, set. But the small things, the close things, your breath, your blood, a car engine, an elevator motor, those still work. For now, it's like the air has stopped being able to move on its own, on a large scale, in open space. But anything with its own engine, anything that pushes hard enough in a small enough space, that's still punching through, for now. I keep saying for now. I know I keep saying it. I'm going to stop saying it, because it isn't helping either of us. Line 8. You've been holding the longest. Go ahead. And line 8 didn't say anything. I could hear the line was open. There's a particular quality to an open line, a kind of presence. You learn it after 9 years. Someone was there, but they didn't speak. Line 8, you're on the air, can you hear me? And then a sound. Not words. A sound like someone trying to talk with no breath behind it. Like the air had gotten too thick to carry the words out of their mouth. A dry, pushing, straining sound. A person leaning their whole soul into making a noise, and the noise barely making it across the room to the phone. I dropped that line. I'm not proud of it. I dropped it because I couldn't listen to it and keep my own voice steady. And my own voice steady is the only thing I've got that helps anybody. Dr. Okafor, are you still there? Line 4? You said sound gets harder to carry the longer this goes. How long? Roughly. How long until none of us can be heard? She was still there. I don't know what I would have done if she hadn't been. There's a particular kind of person you want in a crisis, and it's not the calm ones, and it's not the brave ones. It's the ones who keep thinking when thinking gets frightening. Dr. Okafor is one of those. I've been doing math while I wait, she said. It's the only thing keeping me from listening to my own house. So let me give it to you. And let me give you the parts I'm sure of separately from the parts I'm guessing. Sure of first. Sure of sound is getting harder to transmit. You and I can both hear it. The air is becoming denser or stiffer or both. When I talk now, I can feel resistance, like talking into a pillow that's pushing back. That's real, and it's getting worse. And I'd estimate, very roughly, that we have a few hours before normal speech across a room becomes impossible. Telephones may last longer because they convert sound to signal almost immediately at the mouthpiece. The signal travels by wire and tower, not by air. That's why we can still do this. I hadn't thought of that. The phones might outlive the talking. The radio might outlive the room. Now the part I'm guessing, she said. Breathing. I felt my chest go tight. Go ahead. Breathing works because your diaphragm creates low pressure in your lungs, and air rushes in to fill it. It's the same physics as the wind, just smaller and stronger. As long as your body can create a bigger pressure difference than the stiffness, the resistance, you'll breathe. Your body is a very good pump, better than wind. So you'll keep breathing after the wind stops. You already are. But Marcus. She paused. If the stiffness keeps increasing, there's a point where your diaphragm can't win anymore. Where breathing becomes like trying to inhale through a thick straw, and then a thinner straw, and then... How long? I said. I don't know. That's the honest answer. It's not happening fast. The big air went first, and it went all at once, around 3:30, 3:40. The fine scale our breath, our voices that's degrading slowly. It could plateau. It could be that whatever's doing this only had so much reach. Or it could keep going. I genuinely cannot tell you, and I will not lie to 40,000 people to make myself feel useful. I put my hand on the desk. The wood felt normal, solid, real, the same desk it's always been. And I had this thought, this clear, strange thought, that the desk didn't know. The desk would still be a desk after all of this. Whatever this was, it wasn't interested in desks. It was interested in the part of the world that moves. Dr. Okafor. One more. Why us? Why here? I've been wondering the same thing, she said slowly. And the only thing I keep coming back to is, what if it isn't here? What if we just happen to be the place that noticed first? We have a man on the radio at 4 a.m. We have a physics teacher awake grading papers. We have a woman delivering newspapers on an empty road who looked at her own headlights. We're not special. We're just awake and asking. That landed in me like a stone. Then let's find out, I said. How far awake goes. I'm asking for a specific kind of caller now. I need range. I need distance. If you're listening to this from outside the county, if you're a truck pulling our signal off the interstate from 2 counties over, if you're an insomniac 3 towns away who likes my voice better than silence, I need you to call. The number works from anywhere. I need to know where this stops. And the calls came, and they drew me a border, and I'm going to walk you along it. A man in Halvers County, north of us, 50 miles, said everything was fine, said his porch flag was snapping in a real wind, said he could hear crickets, said his wife was asleep and breathing easy. He almost sounded guilty about it. He kept saying, "I'm sorry, I don't have anything wrong to report." Like wrongness was the price of admission. A woman to the south, near the state line, 60-some miles. Fine. Wind, sound, weather, all of it normal. She put the phone out her window so I could hear it, and I heard wind. I heard actual wind, moving air. The most beautiful sound I have ever heard in my life. And I had to take a second before I could talk again. East out past the river fine, west the same, fine. So it's a circle. It's a rough circle, maybe 40, 50 miles across, and we are sitting in the middle of it. And outside the circle, the world is going on exactly the way it's always gone on. People are sleeping, flags are moving, the wind is blowing across the whole rest of the country, and it stops at a line you can't see. Somewhere out past the grain elevators, somewhere past the reservoir. And inside that line, the air is standing still. Which means 2 things. And I need you to hear both of them. Because one is bad, and one is the first good thing I've been able to say all night. The bad thing, it's not natural. Dr. Okafor's right. Weather doesn't draw circles. Pressure doesn't have a property line. Something is doing this, and it's doing it to a specific place, our place, on purpose, or by some accident with an edge to it. That should scare you. It scares me. But the good thing, and hold on to this, the good thing is that there's an outside. There's an out. 50 miles of normal air is sitting right there, past the edge of this. And that means, if we can move, if the roads hold, if the cars keep punching through, there is somewhere to go. This isn't the whole world. This is a circle on the world. And circles have edges, and edges can be crossed. I want everyone inside that circle who can move to start thinking about moving, toward the edges, away from the center. I don't know yet where the center is, but I've got a guess forming, and I don't like it, and I'll tell you when I'm sure. Diane, are you still with me, line 1? You're on Route 9. You're near the edge. I want you to do something for me, and I want everyone to listen to what happens, because Diane's about to find out if the edge can be crossed. Diane, can you drive north? I can try, Diane said, and her voice was steadier now. Funny thing about being given a task, it puts the bones back in a person. She'd been frozen on the shoulder of Route 9 for 40 minutes, watching dust hang in her headlights. And now she had somewhere to point. Take it slow, I told her. Tell me everything. Don't leave anything out. You're driving for 40,000 people right now, Diane. Every one of them needs to know what you see. I heard the truck door. I heard the engine, that underwater engine, working harder than an engine should have to. I heard the gravel of the shoulder. Okay, I'm moving. It's Marcus. It's like driving through wet sand. The truck doesn't want to go. I've got it floored, and I'm doing maybe 20. That's fine. 20's fine. Keep going. The dust is parting around the truck and closing behind it. I can see it in the mirror. There's a tunnel behind me in the dust, the exact shape of the truck, and it's just staying open back there. I'm leaving a hole in the air. How far to the county line? 9 miles. 8 now. A long stretch of engine. The radio in the truck. Your voice, Marcus. It's getting clearer. You were all muffled, and now you're coming in clean. Oh my God. You're coming in clean. That means you're getting out, Diane. That means you're reaching the edge. Keep going. Don't stop for anything. There's deer, she said suddenly. On the side of the road. 3 of them. They're standing perfectly still, and they're Marcus. Their eyes are following me. They can't move their bodies. The air's got them. But their eyes are following me as I go by, and I have never seen anything so. Her voice broke. I'm sorry. I'm okay. I'm driving. You're doing great. How far? 2 miles. The truck's getting easier. It's getting easier. The air's letting go. And then I heard it. Through Diane's phone. Faint at first, and then unmistakable. Wind. Real wind. Buffeting the truck. Whistling at the window seams. The most ordinary sound in the world. I'm out, Diane whispered. Marcus, I'm out. I crossed it. There's wind. I'm rolling the window down. There's air. There's so much air. The whole booth, even empty, even just me. I swear it felt like the room exhaled. You hear that, everybody? I said into the mic, and my voice cracked, and I let it. That's the sound of getting out. The edge can be crossed. Diane just proved it. Now let's get the rest of you to the wind. You're with KVRN. It's 4:31, and I have to walk something back, and I want you to watch me do it. Because the moment a person stops being willing to be wrong out loud is the moment you should stop trusting them. I told you to move toward the edges, away from the center. And for most of you, that's still right. That's still exactly right. And if you're near the rim of this thing, and you can drive, go now. Follow Diane out to the wind. But I've been mapping the calls, and the center isn't empty. The center has people in it too. The hospital's near the center. The hospital is full of people who cannot move. People on machines. People in beds. Babies in the unit Renata had ours in 2 years ago. And every minute the air gets thicker is a minute their machines have to work harder to push air into lungs that can't pull it on their own. Hollis, the security guard, line 2. You're still there. Tell me about the hospital. Tell me the truth, all of it. It's bad, Marcus. His voice had aged a decade in half an hour. The ventilators are alarming, all of them. The machines push air, but the air won't go in like it should. It's like the docs are saying the resistance is too high. They're cranking the pressure, and it's barely keeping up. And the staff can't shout to each other anymore. We're writing notes. A whole hospital, and we're passing notes because nobody can be heard across a room. How many people can't be moved? I don't know. Hundreds. The ICU, the unit, surgery, the ones on the machines. You can't just put them in a car. The car ride out, they wouldn't make it. The machines are the only thing keeping them breathing. And the machines don't fit in a car. And there it is. There's the thing I've been circling all night, and not saying, because saying it makes it real. Getting out works if you can move. But the people who most need out are exactly the people who can't move. And the longer this goes, the more of us join them, because if Dr. Okafor's right, if the air keeps thickening, then breathing gets harder for everyone. And one by one, we all become people who can't move. Trapped in beds and chairs, and the front seats of cars stalled on the shoulder, eyes following the lucky ones who got out early. So getting out isn't the answer. Getting out is the answer for tonight, for the ones near the edge, for right now. But it's not the answer to the thing itself. The answer to the thing itself is making it stop. And to make it stop, you have to understand it. And to understand it, you have to find the center. So I'm putting out a different call now. Not for the people who can leave. For the people who are stuck near the middle and have nothing to do but observe. The thicker the air around you, the closer you are to the center, and the more I need you. Call me. Tell me how bad it is where you are. I'm going to triangulate. We're going to find the heart of this thing together, with nothing but voices and a map in my head, because that's all we've got, and it's going to have to be enough. Dr. Okafor. You taught this. If you wanted to find the source of something like this, something with a center and an edge, getting weaker as it spreads out, how would you do it with nothing but a room full of frightened people on the phone? Easy, she said. You find where it's worst. The center is wherever it started. And whoever's there. She stopped. Whoever's at the center may know something the rest of us don't. We did it the slow way, the only way. I'd take a call, get a location, get a severity. Can you still talk normally? Can you walk across a room? Can you breathe easy? And I'd plot it in my head against the town I've driven through 10,000 times. And the picture sharpened with every call. And I'm going to give you the sharpening, because watching it come into focus is the closest thing to hope I had to offer. 8th Street. Bad, but you can still talk. That's mid-range. The interstate, mile 41. Thinning out toward the edge. Downtown, Veterans Plaza. Bad. Real bad. The water column, still hanging. The man on that line was whispering, and even the whisper was a fight. The old rail yard, south of downtown. Worse. A woman there said she'd stopped trying to talk to her husband across the kitchen, and they were holding hands instead. Squeezing once for yes, twice for no. Like the air had turned them back into something simpler than people who use words. And then a call came in that made the whole map snap together. A man, young-sounding, calm in the wrong way, the calm of someone who stopped fighting because fighting stopped working. I'm at the foundry, he said. The old Brennan foundry, off Cooper. I work nights, watchman. Marcus, I can barely get the words out. The air in here is like water. Like deep water. I'm sitting on the floor because standing is too much work. And the thing is... He stopped. I waited. You learn to wait. The thing is, it's coming from here. I know it is, because I felt it start. 3:31 this morning, I had my watch out. I always check it on my rounds. And there was I don't know what it was. A pressure. Like my ears on an airplane, but everywhere, all over my whole body at once, this push, and then a stillness, like the whole building forgot how to make noise. And it started at the old number 4 furnace. I was standing right next to it. It started there, and it pushed out past me in every direction, like a ring in a pond, and I've been sitting here for an hour at the exact center of it. The exact center. I looked at my map. The foundry. Cooper Street. Dead center of the circle. Of course it was. The oldest, biggest, emptiest building in the county. 100 years of iron. Shut down for 15 years. The kind of place where things happen that nobody's awake to see. What's your name? I said. Eli. Eli, I need you to do something. And it's going to be hard. I need you to look at the number 4 furnace and tell me what you see. Is there anything there that shouldn't be? Anything new? Anything that started tonight? A long, long pause. So long the air seemed to lean in. There's a... Eli's voice dropped to almost nothing. There's a quiet right at the furnace mouth. I don't know how to describe a quiet you can see. It's like a place where the air is more still than still. Like the still air is pouring out of one spot, and that spot is the stillest thing of all. I can't look right at it. My eyes slide off. Dr. Okafor came in over line 4, sharp and fast. Eli, do not touch it. Do not go near the furnace mouth. Marcus, tell him. Eli, don't move toward it, I said. Stay exactly where you are. I couldn't move toward it if I wanted to, Eli whispered. The air won't let me. It's pushing me back, like it doesn't want me to see. I need to step away from the foundry for 1 minute. I'll come right back to Eli, I promise. He's safe. He's just sitting there. The air is holding him in place like a hand. But something happened on the home line, and I have to tell you because I've been keeping it from you. And I can't anymore. You remember I had Renata leave the phone off the hook so I could hear the house. The east side, near the water tower. Mid-range on the map. Bad, but survivable. For the last hour, I've had that line in my left ear. Low, under everything. The sound of my own home. I've heard Renata moving around. I've heard her hush the baby once when she stirred. Ordinary sounds. The sounds of my actual life continuing in the background of the worst night of my life. And about 10 minutes ago, the sounds changed. The baby started crying. Which babies cry? That's not the thing. That's the opposite of the thing. A crying baby is a breathing baby. But the cry was wrong. It was thin. It was a baby trying to cry and not having enough air behind it to make the sound. The same straining I heard from line 8 an hour ago. That dry, pushing reach. And I heard Renata. Not her words, the air's too thick at the house for words to carry to the phone now. But I heard her doing the thing you do. I heard her get down low, on the floor. Because air's a fluid, and the thick, still air, if it's settling, settles low, no rises. I don't know which. And neither does Dr. Okafor. And I had to make a choice with no information. And I keyed the home line, and I shouted. I shouted with everything I had. Ren, get high, get up high, the water tower stairs, get above it. I don't know if she heard me. The air at her end might be too thick now, even for the phone. But I heard the floorboards. I heard her moving. I heard the front door, that stuck door. And the awful effort and the sound of it opening against air gone solid. And then I heard her outside, faintly, climbing. The clang of metal stairs. The water tower's the highest thing on the east side. And I gambled that high was better. That whatever poured out of that furnace mouth was heavier than air or settling like fog. And I sent my wife and my daughter up 100 feet of steel ladder in the dark on a guess. She's climbing right now. I can hear it under everything I'm saying to you. Clang, 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 slower than it should be, but still going. Keep climbing, Ren. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. Keep climbing, now, back to the foundry, because I think I know how to make it stop. Here's what I've put together, and Dr. Okafor is going to check me on it, live, on the air, because I'm a radio host and not a scientist, and the only thing worse than not having an expert is pretending you don't need one. Eli felt it start at 3:31. A pressure, then a stillness, spreading out in a ring from the number 4 furnace. There's a place there now, a stillness you can see that the air pours out of. Dr. Okafor, in your words, what is that? I'll tell you what it behaves like, she said, and I could hear her choosing each word like a stone to step on across a river. It behaves like a sink, not a source a sink. Everyone's been describing the air as standing still, as thickening, as being held. But what if it isn't being held in place? What if it's being pulled, slowly, toward that one point? The whole atmosphere of the county, draining toward the foundry, too slowly to feel as wind, but fast enough that everything's gone taut. like the whole sky is one sheet being pulled toward a single drain. Then why is it thickest at the center? If air's draining toward it, shouldn't the center be empty? Because air can't drain as fast as it's pulled. It piles up, it compresses. Right at the mouth, it's packed so dense that it can't move at all. That's Eli's stillness you can see. That's the air crushed to the point where it stops being air you can move through. The center isn't empty. The center is where all the air in the county is being crushed into one place and can't get out. I felt sick, because if she's right, then it's not going to plateau. It's going to keep pulling. And the thickness Eli's drowning in right now, that's the thickness coming for the rest of us, radiating out, the whole circle slowly filling in toward the density of stone. How do you stop a drain? I said. You either plug it, Dr. Okafor said, or you turn off whatever's pulling. And I don't know what's pulling. There's no machine at a shut-down foundry that could do this. There's nothing in physics that does this. So I can't tell you how to turn it off because I don't know what it is. Then we plug it. Marcus, you cannot get a person near that. Eli can't get within 20 feet. The air won't let him. And even if he could, what if you don't need a person? I said. The idea was forming as I spoke it, which is the most dangerous kind of idea. But it was all I had. Eli, the foundry's a foundry. Number 4 is a furnace. Is there anything heavy near you? Anything on a chain, a hoist, a crane, anything you could drop? Anything big enough to fall into that furnace mouth and just block it? A pause from the foundry. There's the ladle crane, Eli whispered. Runs on a rail along the ceiling, right over the furnace line. There's a casting bucket still hanging on it. Old, huge. Cast iron, holds maybe 40 tons when it's full. It's hanging right over number 4. Can you reach the controls? They're a catwalk, halfway up the wall. The air's thinner up high, you said, Marcus. You said go high. Then go high, Eli. Climb. I want you to understand what's in my ears right now, all of you, because I'm carrying 2 things at once, and I don't know which one is going to break me first. In my left ear, Renata, climbing the water tower. Clang, clang. Long pauses now between the clangs, each one costing her more. She's got our daughter strapped to her chest in the carrier we keep by the door, and she's climbing 100 feet of steel into thinner air on her husband's guess. In my right ear, Eli climbing the foundry catwalk. The same impossible work. Hauling himself up through air gone to deep water toward a control panel that might stop the thing, or might do nothing, or might kill him. 2 people climbing in the dark. And me in a soundproof booth. The safest person in the whole circle, holding a microphone, unable to help either one of them with anything but my voice. So I'm going to use my voice. Eli, talk to me. Where are you? 3rd rung. A grunt of pure effort. The air's like climbing with a man on my back. But you're right. It's thinner up here. I can get a breath up here. Couldn't down there. Good. That's good. Keep going. How many rungs? 20, maybe 25. Count them out loud for me. Every one. I want to hear everyone. 4, Eli said. 5. And in my left ear, faint, the clang of the water tower. I keyed that line and didn't even know if it would carry, but I said it anyway. Ren, you're doing so good. Almost there. Get to the catwalk at the top and stay there. The air's better up high, I promise. I promise. Just get to the top. No words back, but a clang. She heard, or she didn't, but she climbed. Clang. 6, said Eli. 7. Marcus, the casting bucket. I can see it from here. It's huge. It's right over the furnace mouth. There's a release on the panel, a manual release. I've seen the day crew use it. It just drops the load straight down. That's exactly what we need. Keep climbing. 8, 9. His breathing was getting worse, not better. The higher-up air winning against the effort of the climb and losing. 10. I gotta rest. Just a second. You can rest, but talk while you rest. Tell me about Eli. Who's down there waiting for you? Who do you go home to? My mom, he said, and laughed, this wet, exhausted laugh. I live with my mom. She thinks the night watchman job is beneath me. She's gonna be so mad I almost died at a job she hates. Then let's not give her the satisfaction. 11. 11, Eli echoed, and climbed. 12. Dr. Rocafort's voice, low and urgent in line 4. Marcus, the casting bucket. When it drops into that mouth, if you're right, if that's a sink, plugging it with 40 tons of iron might work. Or the pull might just crush the iron and keep going. Or, and I need to say this, if all that compressed air at the mouth gets displaced suddenly, all at once, by a falling mass. Say it plain. It could let go all at once. Every bit of crushed air in that building released in an instant. It would be like a bomb going off in reverse and then forward. Eli needs to be high and braced and as far from the furnace as that catwalk reaches before he pulls that release. And even then, I'm not sure the catwalk survives it. Eli, I said, you hear that? I heard, he whispered. 13. 14, Eli said. 15. I'm at the catwalk. I'm okay. I'm on it. I'm crawling. The panel's at the far end, over the furnace. I'm crawling toward it. Stay low. Stay braced. How's the air up there? Better and worse. Better 'cause it's high. Worse 'cause I'm getting closer to it. The stillness. I can see it now from up here, Marcus. I can see down into the furnace mouth, and it's... He stopped. And when he spoke again, his voice had changed. Gone flat, awed, and emptied out. It's beautiful, he said. I'm sorry, that's a stupid thing to say. But it is. It's like a hole in the middle of everything. Not black, not anything. It's the place all the stillness is coming from, and looking at it is like looking at the inside of a held breath. I want to keep looking at it. I really want to keep looking at it. And every hair on my body stood up, because this is the part of the night I'd been dreading, without knowing its shape. The pull. Not the pull on the air. The pull on the person. Eli, look away from it. Look at the panel. Only the panel. Tell me you see the release. A pause that lasted a year. Eli. Yeah. His voice came back from somewhere far. Yeah, sorry. The panel, I see it. Red handle, manual release. The bucket drops straight down. I'm reaching for it. Wait. Dr. Okafor, sharp. Eli, brace first. Hook your arm through the catwalk rail. Whatever happens when that bucket drops, you do not want to be standing free. Brace, then pull. Brace, then pull. Bracing. I heard metal. I heard the careful agony of a man threading his arm through a railing in air like setting concrete. Okay, arms hooked. Marcus, I'm here. If this doesn't work, it's going to work. But if it doesn't, tell my mom I wasn't sleeping on the job. Tell her I did something. You're gonna tell her yourself, Eli. But yeah, I'll tell her. Everybody listening just heard you. 40,000 people just heard what you're doing. You're not the night watchman anymore. You hear me? You're the man who's about to save a whole county. Now pull the handle. In my left ear, the water tower had gone silent. No more clangs. I didn't know if that meant Renata had reached the top or stopped climbing. And I couldn't think about it. I could not think about it. I had to hold the line for Eli. Pull the handle, Eli. Pulling it. I heard the release. A mechanical clack, far away, down a phone line, through air like glass. And then nothing. For one full second, nothing. The bucket falling silently through air too thick to carry the sound of 40 tons of iron descending. It's falling, Eli breathed. Slow. It's falling so slow. The air's holding it back, but it's heavy. It's so heavy. It's going down. It's almost. And then the sound came. I've been doing radio for 9 years. I have heard every sound a broadcast can make. I have never heard, and I hope to God I never hear again, the sound that came down that phone line when 40 tons of iron met the stillest thing in the world. I can't describe it, and I'm going to try anyway, because that's the job. The job is to put sound into words for people who weren't there. And you weren't there. And you need to know. It wasn't a boom. A boom is air moving fast. There was no air to move. It was the opposite of a boom. It was every sound in the world being inhaled at once. It was the noise a held breath would make if you could hear the holding. It came down the phone line as a kind of pressure on my own eardrums, 50 miles away through a wire. And I felt my ears pop in the booth. I felt the change and the lights on my board, every line. All of them flared at once and went dark. The phones dropped. All of them. Eli, gone. Dr. Okafor, gone. The hospital, the rail yard, the interstate. Diane out past the edge and her wind gone. And the home line, gone. I sat in the dark booth with dead phones and a live microphone, and I did the only thing I know how to do, which is keep talking, because if I'm still talking, then the signal's still up. And if the signal's still up, then somebody might still hear me. And if somebody can still hear me, then I'm not alone, and neither are they. If you can hear my voice, I said. The phones are down, all of them. I don't know if that means the lines failed, or the towers failed, or I don't know what it means. I'm still broadcasting. I can hear myself in my headphones, and the delay is gone. The delay is gone. An hour ago, my own voice came back to me a quarter second late, and now it's instant. It's instant. Which means I stopped, because I'd felt something. In the booth. The most ordinary thing. On the back of my neck. Air. Moving air. The faint, blessed, stupid breath of the air handler kicking back on. The hum of the building returning. The fluorescents buzzing the way they've buzzed every night for 9 years. The air's moving, I said, and I didn't recognize my own voice. In the studio, the air is moving. I can feel the vent. Oh my God. I can feel the vent. It worked. Whatever Eli did, whatever that iron did to that stillness, it worked. The drain is plugged. The sink is closed. The air is coming back. But the phones are dead. And I don't know who's alive. And the water tower went silent before the end. You're listening to KVRN. It's 5:02 in the morning. The air is moving again. And I'm trying, line by line, to find out who made it. The phones came back about 4 minutes after the sound. Not all at once. One at a time, like a city waking up. And I want to do this with you. All of you who held on through that. Because you earned the answers as much as I did. We're going to call the roll. We're going to find out who's still here. The first call I made wasn't to a caller. You know who it was to. I dialed home with hands that didn't work right, and I listened to it ring. And every ring was a small death, and on the 5th ring. Marcus. Renata, out of breath, alive. We're at the top, she said. We're on the catwalk of the water tower, and the wind just came back, Marcus. The wind is hitting us up here, real wind, and the baby's crying. She's screaming her head off, and I have never been so happy to hear her scream. I put my head down on the desk, and for about 10 seconds, I was not a broadcaster. I was just a man. And the microphone caught all of it, every sound I made. And I'm not ashamed of a single one. You made it high, I said. You made it up. You did it. You told me to climb, so I climbed. I'm leaving the home line open again. Not so I can hear the house, so I can hear my family breathe. I'm going to do it for the rest of this broadcast, and I don't care if it's unprofessional. I've earned one unprofessional thing tonight. Then I started calling back. Hollis at the hospital. Picked up on the second ring. The vents, he said, and he was crying. Big, rough security guard sobs. The vents they're breathing easy. All of them. The alarm stopped. The resistance dropped to normal in 1 second flat. The docs are running around checking everybody, and they're okay, Marcus. The ones on the machines, they're okay. The air's going in. The rail yard couple. The ones holding hands, squeezing once for yes. We're talking, the woman said, laughing and crying at once. We're just sitting here talking, about nothing, about what to have for breakfast. I never thought I'd be so glad to argue about breakfast. Dr. Okafor. It plateaued and reversed in under 10 seconds, she said. And even now, even relieved, the scientist in her couldn't stop reaching for it. The pulse stopped. The compressed air at the center released and equalized across the whole region almost instantly. That sound you heard, that was the whole county's atmosphere snapping back into motion at once. Marcus, I want to study this for the rest of my life. And I'm also never, ever going to be able to explain it. And I'm going to have to make peace with both of those things. And Diane. Out past the edge, in the wind, who'd gotten out first. I turned around, she said. When the phones dropped, I turned the truck around and I drove back toward the center. I don't know why. I just couldn't be out in the safe air while you were all in there. I'm driving back in right now. And the dust, Marcus, the dust is falling. It's falling like normal dust. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Everyone. Almost everyone. But I hadn't gotten the foundry to pick up. I called the foundry 11 times. I counted. I always count when I'm scared. 11 times, and 11 times it rang into nothing. And with every ring I built the story I was going to have to tell. The catwalk that Dr. Okafor wasn't sure would survive. The man braced with his arm hooked through the rail, 20 feet from the stillest thing in the world, when 40 tons of iron hit it and the whole county's air snapped back at once. I'd sent him up there. My idea. My voice in his ear saying, pull the handle. I started writing it in my head. The thing I'd say. Tell his mom he wasn't sleeping on the job. Tell her he did something. The worst sentences I'd ever have to read on the air. And I'd read them. Because that was the job. The job is to tell the truth, even when the truth is a man who climbed for all of us and didn't climb back down. I picked up the mic. I think some of you could hear it in my voice. The thing I was getting ready to say. I've been trying to reach the foundry, I said. Eli, the watchman, the man who... The phone rang. The studio line. Incoming. I have never moved so fast in my life. KVRN, this is Marcus, who's... coughing. Wet, ragged, gasping coughing, the most gorgeous coughing I have ever heard. A man hacking the deep water air out of his lungs and replacing it with the real thing. Mom's gonna kill me, Eli wheezed. I couldn't talk. For a second, I genuinely could not produce a sound. Catwalk held. He got out, between coughs. Most of it. The end over the furnace that's gone. That's just gone. Twisted right off. But I was braced at the far end, like the doc said. The whole thing whipped, and I was hanging off the rail by one arm over a 50-foot drop. And then everything just stopped pulling. and I climbed back. I'm on the ground. I'm sitting in the parking lot looking at the sky, and there's clouds moving, Marcus. The clouds are moving again. Eli, I said. Eli, you're... The furnace mouth's full of iron, he said. The bucket's wedged in there solid. Whatever that stillness was, it's under 40 tons of cast iron now, and it's not coming back. The air's normal. It's just normal. I'm sitting in a parking lot, and the air is just regular, boring, perfect air. You did it? You actually did it. We did it, Eli said. You kept me climbing. I'd have stopped on rung 10 if you weren't counting. A pause. And hey, you better have recorded all that. 'Cause my mom is never gonna believe me, and I need proof I did something with my life. It's recorded, I said. Every second. The whole county heard you, Eli. 40,000 people just heard you do the bravest thing I've ever witnessed. It's 5:31 in the morning. The sun's going to come up in about 40 minutes. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's over and tied up neat, because that's not the truth. And I promised you the truth all night, and I'm not breaking that promise in the last half hour. Here's what we know. Something opened at the number 4 furnace of the old Brennan foundry at 3:31 this morning. It pulled the air of this whole county toward one point, slowly, silently, hard enough to stop the wind, and thicken the air and nearly stop our breathing. It drew a circle about 50 miles across. And it closed, or it was closed, by a watchman and a casting bucket and a physics teacher's math, and a newspaper driver and a security guard, and every single one of you who picked up a phone and helped me draw the map. Here's what we don't know. We don't know what it was. We don't know why the foundry, why number 4, why tonight. We don't know if 40 tons of iron actually destroyed it or just capped it. Dr. Okafor used the word plugged. And you don't permanently fix a thing by plugging it. You buy time. We don't know how much time. We don't know if it's the only one. Somewhere out there, tonight or some other night, in some other quiet, enormous, empty building that nobody's awake to watch, I don't know. I don't know, and I won't pretend to. But I know this. When it happened here, we weren't ready, and we figured it out anyway, with nothing, with voices and a radio and a map in one tired man's head. We found the center because Eli looked at his watch. We crossed the edge because Diane was brave enough to drive into the dust. We breathed through it because Dr. Okafor wouldn't stop thinking. We saved the people who couldn't move because we refused to leave without them. So if it ever happens to you, if you're ever somewhere and you take a breath, and it feels wrong, and the dust hangs in the headlights, and the flag stands sideways in no wind at all, you'll know what we know now. Find where it's worst. That's the center. Get the people who can't move as far from it as you can, and keep talking. Whatever you do, keep talking. The talking is what saved us, because the air can be made to stand still. But people don't have to. It's 5:41 in the morning, exactly 2 hours since I asked you to take a breath. Take one now, a real one. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Feel how it just happens, how the air comes when you ask it to. How it's been doing that your whole life without ever once needing your permission or your gratitude. Give it your gratitude anyway, just this once. For me. My shift ends at 6. There's a morning guy who's supposed to come in and read the farm report and the traffic. And I don't know if he's coming, because I don't know what the roads look like, or what the rest of this strange morning is going to hold. But the sun's coming up. I can't see it from this windowless room. But I know it's coming, because the air handler is humming and the lights are buzzing, and my voice in my headphones is arriving exactly when it should, instantly, the way a voice is supposed to. Renata's still on the home line. I can hear the baby. She stopped crying. She's doing that little contented thing she does, that small, wet breathing of a baby who's decided the world is okay after all. They're going to climb down off the water tower when the sun's up and it's safe to see the rungs. And then I'm going to go home, and I'm going to hold both of them, and I'm going to breathe the regular, boring, perfect air of my own kitchen. And I'm never going to take a single breath for granted again as long as I live. To Eli, to Diane, to Hollis, to Dr. Okafor, to the couple at the rail yard who talked about breakfast, to every one of you who held the line. Thank you. You didn't just survive tonight. You did something. Remember that, whatever your mom says. This is Marcus Dovey. You've been listening to KVRN 91.1. The air is moving, the sun's coming up, and we're all still here to breathe it. Stay with me. The morning's almost here.